I'm back here with another Tier List Tuesday. It is Birth Road, and today we're going to be ranking the different anime that I have seen and how they would be for beginners, right? Like, for example, I'm just going to throw it out there like Chainsaw Man. Maybe Chainsaw Man isn't very great for people that have never watched anime before, right? So this list is kind of for people who maybe are just starting to watch anime or want to give it a try, or maybe, you have a friend that, doesn't watch anime and they don't want to watch stuff you want to watch. Show them some of these. These are good starter picks for sure. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so straight away we have Attack on Titan. I'm not the biggest fan of Attack on Titan, but I'd be lying if I said it was not a good starter anime, right? Like, I think it is decent length. It's not too long. It's not too short. I think it's pretty easy to follow. It's got its mystery. It's got its plot twist as well. It's got likable characters, and it's got a good story, right? I think it's perfect for most people, so I think it's going to be the first one in the perfect tier. Now, if you're enjoying this video, leave a like, subscribe. I've got my Discord in the description as well, where we can talk about anime, different things like that. And I'm going to be doing a video with you guys whenever I hit 50 members, so go join the Discord as well. And next, we have Baki. Baki, I'm not going to lie, there is a really rare chance that they will continue to watch anime if they watch Baki. Because Baki's not bad, but it's very goofy. The story's not really amazing, and there's very few likable characters. Also, the animation's not anything spectacular, and it's honestly kind of long for what it is. It's not a story that really needs to be as long as it is. I'm not saying Baki's a bad show, but for beginners, it's just not really great. Next, we have Beyblade. Honestly, I'm going to put it 50-50. It might be too childish for them. They might just see it as another cartoon. And chances are most people who don't watch anime have probably seen Beyblade because they don't think it is one, but it is. And yeah, so I say it's a 50-50 shot. It might be a little too childish, or they might be like, oh, it's not an anime, it doesn't count. But it's, yeah, if they don't think those things, then they'll probably end up enjoying it. Beyblade has a lot to offer, and there are some bad parts, but it has a lot of good as well. It is very long, though, I'm not going to lie, for a lot of the parts, so yeah, that as well kind of hurts it. Next, we have Bleach. I think Bleach is good. It's not going to go into perfect. It is just very long. Also, it is the most, well, not anymore, but for a while, it did hold the title of the most dropped anime, so yeah, not really a thing to be proud of, I would say, but it's definitely a good story and has good characters and things like that. And if they know how to watch it, then it's definitely good. But the problem is knowing how to watch it. And actually, if this is a list for beginners, I'm going to move it down to 50-50 because they're not going to know how to watch it. They're just going to start watching Bleach and they're going to get to some parts that absolutely suck and they don't know they're supposed to skip it. So I'm going to go 50-50 on Bleach because there is honestly way too much filler. It's way too long. And yeah, it used to be the most dropped anime for probably at least like 10 years. So, yeah, I think 50-50 is a fair spot. Next, we have Bungo Stray Dogs. Oh, Bungo's tough. I'm actually going to put it in good because Bungo's pretty simple to understand, and it has a lot of common themes you will see in other shows. So it's not really like stuff they haven't necessarily seen before, right? Like, obviously, it has its own originality to it and a reason to watch it, unlike, maybe other shows. But it's pretty simple to follow, right? A lot of the characters are likable, and it's not too long right now. The problem is Bungo's going to keep getting longer and longer and longer. I saw they just finished part 1 of the manga, and it's not done yet, which means there's a lot more that's going to come out, right? But for now, it's not that long, so I'd say it's a pretty good one to start with. Again, something that might hold it back from being perfect is there are some slower moments, there are just better shows, and it's not finished. Next, we have Chainsaw Man. I'm not going to lie, it is 50-50, and it just entirely relies on who the person is, because Chainsaw Man can be a little bit graphic. Chainsaw Man can be a little bit too sexual. Chainsaw Man can be a little bit of a lot of different things, honestly, but some people that don't mind them, they would probably like Chainsaw Man. It's short right now, it's easy to get into, but if you don't like a lot of the themes that are in Chainsaw Man, you might not like it, and it's 50-50 shot with people that don't watch anime, right? Like, honestly, I didn't want to give Chainsaw Man a chance, and then I did, and I was like, okay, I do enjoy it. I don't really care for all the horny shit that happens in it. I personally think it's stupid, but everything else in it is really good, right? So I think it's 50-50 depending on who the person is, but, if they don't care about all the intense themes, I should say, that are in it, then they'll probably like it, but a lot of people do care about that stuff. Next, we have Code Geass. I think Code Geass is another perfect one. I'd actually recommend it over Attack on Titan. It really has no issues. The biggest problem with Code Geass is honestly the animation, and Code Geass fans get mad when I say that, but let's be honest, it's not the best animated thing, and the characters all have the same pointy chin, like they look weird, okay? People, well, especially the Code Geass fans will deny it, but it's true. They do look weird. They don't look like normal characters, right? They all have the same facial structure, and the animation isn't the best. But other than that, there's no flaws with it for a beginner. It's a simple story to understand. It's a very in-depth story to understand, and it's, what's it called? It gets very not intense, but it's a mature show that really anybody could watch and understand and get the value out of it. So that's why I think it's perfect, because it's good for all ages as well, even if it is a little more mature than others. Next, we have Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is weird because I think I'm going to put it in good, but behind Bungo. The reason why is because it might be weird for people to get into a show where, like, there's not necessarily a main story, right? But it is short, which is good, and it is a very in-depth show. All the characters in the show are incredibly likable, so that's another plus. But yeah, I can't put it in perfect because I can't say many people would want to start with a show that doesn't have like a main storyline really, right? So that's why I think it's going to be in good, because there's a lot of episodes where it's like, okay, we kind of are veering off the path of like Spike getting his revenge or whatever, but I think it's amazing. It's just, you know, that's not really for everybody. Next, we have Dragon Ball Z. Well, this is just Dragon Ball in its entirety. Honestly, it's going to go in 50-50. I'll put it ahead of Bleach, but it's a similar problem with Bleach. Not necessarily what to skip, but it is incredibly long. And not only that, but it's also not over, which is an issue sometimes. Also, you know, a lot of people might start with Z. That's not where you're supposed to start. And a lot of people may not like the original Dragon Ball because the animation's weird, the pacing's weird. And then, like, you get into new power systems in the next show. And then, like, the show kind of basically changes up a lot. It's kind of a lot to take in, I guess. I think that's why it's 50-50, because there is a lot to take in. And, you know, for some people, that's not a problem. I mean, a lot of people started off with Dragon Ball, right? But for a lot of people, it is a problem. There's a lot of people that even watch anime now that won't watch Dragon Ball because it's just a lot, like, honestly. And it is a lot, you know, I'm not going to lie. But it is good. It's worth a watch, but, you know, a lot of people may not enjoy it because it's that. Next, we have Death Note. I think Death Note is pretty good. I'd put it at the top of good because it's similar to Code Geass in terms of there's not really too much wrong, but Death Note's a little bit for a more mature audience, I guess. And Death Note, I'm not going to lie, personally, I don't think Season 2 is that great. And there's nothing really like Death Note. Honestly, the only thing that's kind of similar is Code Geass, but Code Geass shares similarities with a lot of other shows. Death Note's kind of like its own thing, honestly. There's not really much like it, so you're getting them into a show that, yes, is great, and yes, they will probably like, but they're not going to find much else. Well, I guess the direct route is then to go watch Code Geass, and then Code Geass can branch out to other stuff, but yeah, it's not perfect, right? It's good. It's a definite good start. Gosh, I've been tripping over my words recently, but anyway. Next, we have Death Parade. Death Parade for me is going to be 50-50. I'm going to put it above all of them in 50-50 though. And the main reason why, is because it is finished and it's short, which is major bonus points for a beginner. A beginner doesn't want to watch something super long. But the reason I give it 50-50 is because it's like niche, if that makes sense. Like, people don't, for two different reasons. It's niche in the sense of like how people rate it. Like, it's not talked about with all of the other great anime, so people are like, oh, you're having me watch like some weird shit for the first one, and they're gonna go into it with a negative mindset. That's one. But assuming that doesn't happen, it's also niche in the fact that it's kind of like Death Note. There's not much like it. I guess Death Note and Death Parade are pretty, that might be the next connection, honestly. But the thing with Death Parade is it is very short. So, and there's not much like it. So you go from Death Parade to Death Note or something like that. They're both really short. There's not a lot to branch off of Death Note there. Like, it's off Death Parade, sorry. It's very niche. There's not really much like it. It is very good. Also, the first 4 episodes are kind of slow. I say kind of because they're not really, but they could be. Like, some people could watch the first few episodes and be like, all right, I'm not interested. Which is totally fine, by the way. People get mad when it's like, oh, you haven't seen the whole show. How could you say you don't like it? You don't need the whole show. I'm going to be honest. After 4 episodes, if you don't like a show, I feel like that's totally okay to drop. Like, that's about an hour, 2 hours put in. If you don't enjoy it after that, then drop it. Like, shows need to be able to captivate you, right? Anyway, next we have Demon Slayer. I think Demon Slayer is good. I actually put it at the top of good because the biggest problem Demon Slayer has is it's just not one of the best stories in anime, right? Like, it's very easy to get into. It's very easy to understand. Very good animation with some likable characters, but the story's just not that great. That's why I wouldn't put it in perfect because, you're not going to walk away. Nobody starts off with Demon Slayer and is going to watch 20 more anime and be like, wow, Demon Slayer is my favorite. It's just very unlikely for that to happen because Demon Slayer, quality-wise and its story and stuff, is just lower than a lot of the high-standard anime, right? And it's no hate on Demon Slayer. Like, I like it, but it really is almost too simple to be, like, perfect. Because, like, with Attack on Titan, Code Geass, they are their own story. If somebody said, like, not if somebody said, because that's all opinion stuff, but, like, if Code Geass and Attack on Titan remain your favorite after watching them, then after watching a bunch of other anime, then I feel like that's totally valid. Demon Slayer, it's really just a step below a lot of the top anime. So that's the reason it's going to go into perfect. The story's just not quite there to put it higher. Next, we have Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, honestly, I'm going to put it in good, and I'm going to put it behind Demon Slayer, because it is very short, which is good and bad, because people get into stuff that's short, because then they can watch it all. But at the same time, it being short means there's not a whole lot of content there. Now, I'm putting it in good and not perfect because of one main reason. The Cyberpunk anime kind of caters to Cyberpunk fans, which obviously if you play the game and you haven't watched anime and you watch this, it might get you into that, which is great. It's perfect for the players for sure. But there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes unexplained in Cyberpunk because it's implied that, like, stuff from the game, and not everybody does. So that's the reason why it's not perfect, because there's some stuff that just goes unexplained, and the pacing is pretty fast. And so for somebody who's never watched anime or played Cyberpunk, it might be a little bit of a, I don't want to say tough watch, but it wouldn't be as good as other options, right? So that's why it's going to land itself in good. Next, we have Fairy Tail. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to put this one in rare chance. Like, there's a lot to branch off of a Fairy Tail. There's a lot that's similar. But Fairy Tail, it's really going to be hard for somebody to get into that because it's very long. And then out of long anime, it's probably one of the worst. And I'm not saying that it's bad necessarily, but there's not a lot of anime that hit the episode count that Fairy Tail has. And out of the ones that have, it's arguably the worst because there are so many parts of Fairy Tail that just aren't really that great. I could see how people could get into Fairy Tail as their first show and be like, all right, I enjoy this, now I can move on to other stuff. But I feel like most people are going to start watching, they'll be like, okay, it's kind of good because it's not like the first. The only arc that really captivates you, honestly, in Fairy Tail is Tower of Heaven. Everything else, at least in my opinion, is like, all right, it's either good or not so good. So they're going to be watching this like, all right, it's decent, and then if they still are enjoying it, they're going to get to the bad parts and be like, wow, this just is not good. And that could either be a good thing or a bad thing, and they're like, all right, well, maybe anime is not that bad, I can try something else. Or they're going to be like, all right, so I guess anime just can't keep a good story going, and then they're going to drop it. So I say rare chance just because not only is it incredibly long, but it's incredibly inconsistent as well. Next, we have Golden Kamuy. It's just bad. This is a bad one to start off with. I like Golden Kamuy. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's good. But the plot is very difficult to follow. The characters are hella weird, and people that don't like anime, and they watch like normal TV shows, there's not that many characters that act like the ones in Golden Kamuy, right? There's not much relation they can have from the shows they've watched and the media they've experienced and put it into Golden Kamuy. It's completely different from anything the average non-anime watcher has most likely consumed. So yeah, it's just a bad option, and it is relatively long. I mean, it's about to get its last season. It'll be like around 80 episodes, which that's similar to Attack on Titan, so not that crazy in terms of the episode count, but yeah, it's just a little hard to get into, I would say. Next, we have Gurren Lagann. Honestly, I think it's going to go into perfect. I'd actually probably put it above Attack on Titan because it's a little bit shorter, but it's still long enough to have like a good impact on them. And to me, again, if you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Gurren Lagann, but that's because I don't like mechs, and not because the story's bad or anything like that. Most people don't have a problem with mechs, so they'll love Gurren Lagann because the story is amazing, the characters are amazing, the animation is still good to this day, the music's good to this day, everything about it. I mean, there's no issue you could have other than like if you just don't like the premise of the story like I do, which is like mechs, I still think objectively it's a fantastic, phenomenal anime, and it's perfect for beginners because it's a medium-sized anime with a lot of content in it, with a lot of likable characters and great story. Obviously, it's a perfect starter for a lot of people. Next, we have Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter, it's going to go at the top of good because I've never heard anybody really have any issue with Hunter x Hunter that's like not anything like super opinionated, because Hunter x Hunter is a great story. The problem with it is it's kind of a heartbreak to put into perfect, if that makes sense. Like, it's like they'll probably end up watching it all if they like it, and most people do like Hunter x Hunter, right? So they'll watch it all and be like, oh wait, this kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger, right? And then they're gonna do some research, like, when's the next season coming out? We don't fucking know. It may never come out. Who knows if the manga will even finish? And the story's only like halfway over, right? Like, there's not even I don't know, we're not even really deep into it, to be honest. I think that's a massive problem, which keeps it out of perfect. But the show, where it's at right now, is so perfect that it's still going to go in good. Because if you show this to somebody who hasn't watched anime, they will like it, most likely. I mean, Hunter x Hunter is just an amazing show. Most people will like it. I've, like I said, never heard anybody who said it's bad. So, you know, if only we knew it was going to finish, then maybe it could go into perfect, but it's going to have to be good. Also, it is very long and will be even longer when more comes out. Next, we have JoJo's. I think JoJo's is 50-50, honestly. I'd probably put it behind Chainsaw Man, because it's a similar thing with Chainsaw Man. It is very, what's the word? I could say unique, but it's very, like, direct in what it is. And if you don't like the themes of JoJo's, like it being goofy and it being honestly kind of a little bit gay, then you're not going to like the show, right? And for starter anime as well, it is very long, but JoJo's is a phenomenal story. So if you don't mind that stuff and you start off with it, you might enjoy it. Also, another problem it has is a lot of people don't really like the first part, which is only 6 episodes, but still, it's important because it's your first impression of the show. And so I could see a lot of people dropping it. But if they get past the first 6 episodes and they don't care about the unique themes, then they will most likely enjoy it. But those are a lot of ifs, to be honest. So yeah, that's why it's going to land in 50-50. Next, we have Jujutsu Kaisen. I would argue right now it's perfect. I'm going to put it at the bottom because it's not over, and I do think the show does get worse. But even with it getting worse, it still arguably is a perfect starter anime. It's really, really easy to get into, and it's on like every streaming platform you could ever want it on. So, you know, they don't even have to go to Crunchyroll. They don't have to go to any website. Like, I believe it's on Netflix. No, it's on Hulu, I think, as well. It might even be on Disney, honestly. It's pretty much accessible everywhere, which is a massive plus. Also, very likable and simple characters. You can get behind these characters very easily. Story is pretty easy to follow. Everything's explained very well. And even though I do think the story will end up getting worse as more and more gets animated, for a beginner show, it's not going to be so bad where people aren't going to want to watch it, right? I still would argue that it is a perfect starter anime because it can branch out to so many different things, because JJK is similar to a lot of shows. And yeah, I can't see a problem with it from a beginner standpoint. Obviously, if you've seen a lot of anime, JJK does have some flaws, right? But for someone who's never seen anything before, JJK is a great introductory anime. Next, we have One Piece. I'm going to put One Piece, honestly, behind Hunter x Hunter in good. Now, here's the reason why. People are going to be like, oh, it should be in the same thing as Bleach. One Piece is in that tier with Dragon Ball and Naruto as being, you know, objectively, you know, maybe not by story, but at least by the numbers, objectively, the top 3 most popular anime. And that means a lot of people like One Piece. Also, you have the live action, which helps it out a lot. A lot of people have started watching anime because of the live action, so that's also another bonus that helps. But with One Piece, the thing about it is that it is an incredible story that a lot of people can get into because it is super popular, meaning a bunch of people like it, right? The biggest problem is it's long as shit and it's not over. So I wouldn't recommend people to start with it, but if you do start with it and you're committed to it, I mean, you're gonna like anime. You don't watch 1,000 episodes of something then not like other things like it, right? Like, so if you watch One Piece and end up enjoying it, man, you're gonna enjoy a bunch of different anime, right? Like, it's a good starter one to test, but it is incredibly long, and that's why it can't be imperfect. No beginner's gonna look at something that's 300 episodes at this point. Might not be that much, but still, 1,000+ episodes, look at that and be like, oh, yeah, maybe I should start this and give it a try. That's not a give it a try. You got to commit to that. But if they do commit to it, they probably won't regret it because a lot of people love One Piece. And if they've seen the live action, it's not that hard of a commitment, right? Because they're like, oh, I do like the story, you know? Next, we have One Punch Man. Honestly, before Season 3, it would have been in good. I've got to put it in bad, if you want me to be honest. Now, this might be a little too harsh, but hear me out for my reasoning. One Punch Man as an anime is hella inconsistent. Not only does the story kind of change up in all 3 seasons, but the animation changes up every single time. Like I said, the story takes major different routes, and Season 3 really just wraps it up into a bundle of shit. Season 1 and 2 are good, and even with the different story changes and the minimal amount of impactful characters, right, for people to enjoy, Seasons 1 and 2, it has a simple story. It's funny. It's easy to follow. People will enjoy it. But if they only watch One Punch Man starting now and they get to Season 3, they're going to see Season 3, and I don't know how anybody could enjoy that, I'll be honest. And you know what, I'm not going to put it in bad because it's truthfully not. I'll put it at the top of rare chance because people would enjoy Seasons 1 and 2, but I think it has a problem similar with Fairy Tail. It's like then you get served a plate of dog shit and it's like, oh, well, can any anime be, you know, good all the way through? And it just, Season 3 really ruins the reputation of One Punch Man, and deservedly so. It was fucking awful. But it's honestly lucky to get rare chance. Let's just move on to Rave Master. Terrible. It's hella confusing. It's, again, it struggles with being niche. 3, like I said, it makes no sense. I know you do the same point twice, but I don't care. That's really it. It's just a really bad show in general. So giving somebody a bad show to watch as their first anime, not a good idea. Next, we have Solo Leveling. Oh, Solo Leveling. It's going to be right behind Chainsaw Man because I think Chainsaw Man appeals to more... Actually, Solo Leveling probably appeals to more people. It has the problem Dragon Ball and Chainsaw Man has mixed in one, though. Not that there's too much going on, but it's very, very simple. And simple is good, yes, but somebody could watch it and be like, this is lame as shit, there's nothing going on, because a lot of people do. But a lot of people also like Solo Leveling because it is simple. But it is short like Chainsaw Man is, and it is direct. If you don't like the aura farming and just fights, you're not going to enjoy Chainsaw Man, just straight up, because there is no story, genuinely. And there's only one character that matters to the story, and it's Sung Jin Woo. And his whole personality is aura farming. So if you don't like aura farming and you don't like fights, you will not like Solo Leveling. I'm just being honest. So that's why it's going to put in 50-50, because if you do like those things, it's very easy to follow. It's very simple. It's very easy to get into. You would probably enjoy it then. But if you don't like aura farming and fights, you will not enjoy it at all. Next, we have Vinland Saga. I feel like Vinland Saga... I'm going to put it in good, and I'm going to put it above Demon Slayer. The reason why it's not going to go in perfect is, again, it's not done. We don't really have news on when it could potentially wrap up. But it's a story of Vikings. It's very easy to follow, but it is very mature. Like, a kid is not going to watch Vinland Saga and be, like, super into it and stuff. And obviously, I mean, most people, if you're watching this, you're probably not going to be a kid. But... you know, it does have to be kept in account a little bit. Another problem, I would say, with Vinland Saga, the reason why it wouldn't go higher, and it's not just a maturity thing, but there's, again, not much like it. It's similar to the Death Note situation. You might find one show that's kind of like it, but if you think about Vinland Saga, what's like Vinland Saga? Honestly, not really anything. So, again, that's another big problem it has, is even if you watch Vinland Saga as your first and you enjoy it, where do you go from there? You know, because there's not really much like Vinland Saga. So I think it's good. I think it's just hard to branch off from. Honestly, if it's not a shonen, it's going to be pretty difficult to branch off of, because shonen's obviously the most popular anime genre. Next, we have Devil May Cry. It's a similar situation to Cyberpunk, but I'm going to give it 50-50 because it's not like the anime is like fantastic or anything. I'd probably put it ahead of JoJo's because it's definitely easier to get into, but it also kind of has those problems of JoJo's, and it's very short right now. But it has those problems where it does have like very unique themes, and it's just not like the greatest show ever or anything. It's not like Cyberpunk where it's like, wow, this is a phenomenal story. It's decent, and yeah, I'm sure that people, well, actually the people that like the games don't really like it, so maybe I would move it down, honestly. But I like it, and I like the games, but a lot of people like the games that don't, so maybe I'll put it in rare chance, because not even the people that like the games are necessarily going to enjoy it. And yeah, all the other reasons I mentioned, I'm not going to repeat them. D. Gray, man, this is a horrible pick to start people off with, because it's just not an amazing show, I'll be honest. It's just really not. It suffers from being basic and way too unique, if that makes sense. Like, the story, I don't want to say basic, but it's just a copy of Full Metal, honestly. That's all it really is. It just really feels very Full Metal inspired, which isn't necessarily bad, but why would you start with D. Gray Man instead of Full Metal? Anyway, that's besides the point as well. You have the characters. There's not a lot of likable characters in D. Gray Man, I'll be honest. Also, the voice acting is very plain. You can tell this anime did not get a lot of budget. The animation is very plain. The pacing in general is not that great. There's a lot of filler in a show that's not really that long. There's a lot of reasons for people that have not watched anime to not watch this. There's a lot of reasons, and those are just some of them. There's definitely more. And I don't think it's like a horrible show by any means, but definitely not a beginner show at all. Next, we have GTO. I think this is another bad one to start off with, but I'll put it at the top of bad because it is really funny, and if people want to start off with a really funny show, then GTO is the way to go. But there's not much like GTO. It's pretty much just a comedy. The story is all over the place. There's a lot of reasons for GTO as well, but yeah, it's definitely a bad starter anime. Next, we have Tsukimichi. It's also going to be bad. I'll put it at the top of bad, though, because it does have an easy story to follow, and it is funny. But starting anybody off with an isekai is just a terrible decision, honestly. There's just so much better. And I'm not even saying this just because I dislike isekais, but an isekai that's good is like finding a diamond in the rough. Now, I think Tsukimichi is better than most isekais, but it is like finding a diamond in a rough. If you like Tsukimichi or whatever, which a lot of people that haven't watched anime are also going to find the concept of isekai stupid, because they kind of are. But anyway, that's besides the point. Even though it is one of the better ones, if they enjoy it and they're like, oh, I want to watch more isekais, it's very hard to find good ones because a lot of them are shit. So that's why it's going to go into bad, because even if you enjoy it, the next thing you move to is probably going to be bad, and you're like, all right, what, it's just not a good one to start with. Elusive Samurai, I would actually put this below Rave Master. I genuinely think Elusive Samurai is the worst show ever. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And there's a lot of different reasons, which I'm not going to go into that. I need to make a video on that still, because I still haven't, but I guess that'll be my anime review. But that's besides the point. With the Elusive Samurai, even without me thinking it is the worst show ever, it suffers from a lot of problems. It has zero target audience. The story makes no sense because it's based off a true story, and it doesn't go off the true story whatsoever. The characters make no sense at all. How can an 8-year-old be the greatest spy in the world? It makes no sense. And this is supposed to be a true story, which it's not. It goes so far off the true story. So if you know anything about history, you're going to hate this show. If you are of any age at all, you're going to hate this show, because the humor in this is little kid humor. Maybe little kids will enjoy it. No, because they literally behead people in the show. So unless if you're an adult with a child's mind, which is weird, and you probably already watch anime if that's true, I'm just going to be honest, then you're not going to enjoy this. Like, there's literally zero chance somebody who's never watched anime can watch the Elusive Samurai and be like, alright, I want to keep watching this and watch other stuff. There's literally zero chance. I would bet money on it. I'd bet my house on it. I'd bet everything on it. Next, we have Kill la Kill. It's going to be in bad as well. I'll put it just above Elusive Samurai because nothing's worse than that show. But that's besides the point again. Kill la Kill, it's way too fucking horny. It's very goofy as well, which a lot of people, you may enjoy. But again, go to GTO if you want goofy, right? The story's decent, but again, the whole plot of Kill la Kill, the whole world of Kill la Kill revolves around getting naked. I'm sorry, that's a weird fucking show to start out with. And unless if you are a serial gooner, there is no chance that this is going to be a good starting choice for anybody. Next, we have Mashle. Oh, Mashle's tough. Honestly, I'm going to put it 50-50, and I'll probably put it above JoJo's because it's not that long, and it's not going to be that long. It's very easy to get into. It's, again, on a lot of platforms as well. It's very funny as well, and it's relatable to people that haven't watched anime because it's pretty much just Harry Potter anime version. And yeah, so there's a lot of positives about it. The thing is, it's just not like one of the best anime out there. There's not too much like it, unless if you dip into more comedy shows, I guess. But Mashle actually has a story, so it's pretty good. And yeah, it suffers from, as well, it may be too goofy. The story may not be good enough, and there's just way better options, I'm going to be honest. Love Mashle, but it's just not a perfect starter one. Like, it suffers from similar things to the ones that surround it, like Death Parade, JoJo's, Chainsaw Man, things like that. Next we have Pokemon. I'm going to put it in good, but I'm putting it at the bottom of good for one reason. Because a lot of people around the world love Pokemon, and they may not watch anime, and so yeah, start them off with something they already like. They may end up enjoying it. The problem with Pokemon, it's a very similar to Fairy Tail, that sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really bad, and it's really long as shit. Not really something you would get people into. So typically, I would have put this 50-50, but since it has such a massive fan base, arguably the biggest fan base of anything in the world, it's going to go into good, because chances are there's a lot of people that like Pokemon that have never watched anime. Or it could be a similar case in Beyblade, so maybe it should go 50-50, because people are like, oh, they've seen Pokemon, but they count it as a cartoon. Like, that's not really anime, except it is. But, yeah, I'm just going to put it in good, because it's easy for a majority of people in the world to get into. Next, we have Windbreaker. I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a rare chance. I'll put it above Baki, but any delinquent anime, I'm not going to lie, it's just not appealing to the masses anywhere, right? Now, people that have seen it, they're like, oh, the show's decent, but it's also not like the greatest show ever. There's not that many likable characters. The fights are cool and stuff, but you've gotta already enjoy anime to even give this a shot. I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard anybody that's like, Windbreaker's my top 10, top 20, anything like that, unless if they've literally only seen 10 or 20, and that was one of them. And that's not saying it's a bad show, but it's really just nothing special. Like, if they watch Windbreaker, they're gonna watch it, and even if they enjoy it, it's not anything special. They're not gonna walk away from that and be like, oh wow, that was amazing, I need to watch more. Like, nobody's gonna do that. Next, we have Ippo. Ippo has a problem similar to Hunter x Hunter, but I'm going to move it probably below Demon Slayer for a different reason, and that's because it is a sports anime, and what to build off of Ippo is, oh, maybe I should watch a sports anime. The only other way you could build is like, oh, maybe I should watch something a little bit older, and that's a better route to take if you're going to go with Ippo, because most sport anime suck dick. Most of them are trash, and I'm not even saying that, with bias. I'm meaning for beginners, by the way. I'm not saying, like, just sports anime are bad. I mean, for beginners, they are bad, because a lot of them are stupid and very different from the anime, right? Or from the actual sport. Because Ippo, it follows the sport pretty well, but it's more about Ippo than anything, which is nice. They could go to Haikyuu, which a lot of people like Haikyuu. Apparently, it's really good, and I have no issues with Haikyuu. But if they choose to go into something like, say, like basketball, if they don't choose Slam Dunk and they choose Kuroko's, they're going to fucking hate it. Because Kuroko's is nothing like real basketball. And I'm going to be honest, Kuroko's just isn't that good. But even, like, it's just not a good starter at all, because a lot of the other ones are not similar to real life sports, like Ippo and maybe Haikyuu. Like I said, I don't know about Haikyuu, but Haikyuu is very renowned, I guess, and Ippo I have seen, and it is very good, but other than those two, there's not much to go to after that. Next, we have Ghost in the Shell. Again, this has live action. It's easy to get into. It's put into a lot of different media. It inspires a lot of media. So if they've seen something like The Matrix and they're like, oh, The Matrix is inspired by Ghost in the Shell, well, maybe I'll watch that. It's very easy to get into, but it's a movie, and I think it suffers from something like similar to Cowboy Bebop. It's very mature. It's kind of like its own thing, and it's not it doesn't follow the pace of like maybe a typical movie would, but I still think it'd be easy for a lot of people to get into, because a lot of people like real life shows and real life movies that are based off Ghost in the Shell. So yeah, I would say good for the most part. Next, we have The God of High School. I'm not gonna lie, it's a low chance, because I'll put it at the top of low chance, because the anime is not that bad, but it is extremely too fast-paced. The animation is decent, right? But they chop up the story so much that it doesn't quite make that much sense. And it also suffers from it's really short and not really long enough to get attachment to anything. So they might watch it, and even if they enjoy it, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, what's next? And it also leaves off on a cliffhanger. It's going to piss a lot of people off, and they're never going to finish it. So I would say rare chance. Then we have Saiki K. Again, it's going to be like GTO. I think GTO personally is funnier and has a better overall story than Saiki K, even though both of their stories aren't like anything crazy. But it's the same reasons as GTO. It's funny. If they just want a comedy, then maybe, but even then, nobody's going to start watching anime because of the comedy, I feel like. Maybe they are, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping on that, but yeah, that as a first anime just isn't likely. Next, we have Rurouni Kenshin. Oh, Rurouni Kenshin's tough. I'm not gonna lie. If they know anything about it, they're probably not going to enjoy it. I'm going to just put it in rare chance, but I'm going to put it at the top because, you know, a lot of people may know about the Rurouni Kenshin creator and then they don't want to watch the show at all because it's like, in a way, I guess, supporting him. But yeah, the creator's a piece of shit. The story is good, but it is kind of slow-paced. It's a historical anime as well, so it doesn't really represent what a lot of anime really are. But it is a decent watch, so there is a chance they watch it and do enjoy it. But yeah, there's not really much like it. The creator's a piece of shit, and it's not finished as well, the new one. And yeah, it's kind of slow-paced, so I think rare chance. There's a lot of stuff working against it for a new watcher. Next, we have Skate the Infinity. I didn't know people actually like this show, but I'm going to be honest, unless if you are, like, just really into, like, as crazy as it is, because I don't think anything is even confirmed in this. I don't know. I dropped the show, I'll be honest. But unless if you're, like, really into gay media, you're not really going to like it. And I don't even think the show is really gay or anything like that, but that's all the community is, and that's what it feels like. I mean, there's literally like a furry femboy, and I'm not even like exaggerating. He is literally a furry femboy, and he's like, if you beat me in a race or whatever, like, I'll be your personal dog or something like that, or you'll be my personal dog, and I'll walk you on the leash, and like, it's bad. The main villain's also a predator. The story, honestly, is kind of stupid because this guy just comes in that used to snowboard, and it's like the greatest skater ever. It's kind of dumb. I'm going to put it in bad. I also just think it's a bad show. But if you do just like really like gay media, then maybe there's a shot. But there's just so much better. Like, I don't know. To me, it's bad. It's just a bad show. Next, we have Doraemon. It's going to be bad. I'll put it above GTO because a lot of people get into it as kids, but it is just way too childish. It's not like Beyblade or Pokemon where you could watch it later on and still get enjoyment. I don't think you could enjoy Doraemon past the age of 12. I'll be honest. I just don't think it's possible. It is just very, very much for little kids. Also, it's long as shit, and there's just way better options if you are childish, right? If you do really like the kid stuff, like, then go to Pokemon, go to Beyblade. Like, those are way better options than Doraemon is. So that's why it's going to go into bad. There's no reason to watch it as your first anime. Boruto, obviously, it's not going to go below Elusive Samurai. Hell no. But starting off with the third show in a universe is crazy. Like, that's just a horrible decision. I don't know why you'd ever do that. So that one's pretty simple. Next, we have Yu Yu Hakusho. Honestly, if they don't really care about animation, then Yu Yu Hakusho is a perfect anime to start with. I'm not going to lie. And actually, I'd probably put it at the top. The reason why is because it branches off to so much shit. There's so much stuff that's like Yu Yu Hakusho. Way more than Code Geass, Gurren Lagann, Attack on Titan, or JJK. Yu Yu Hakusho probably shares the most similarities. Like, if there was a percentage of how many shows, it would be the highest, if that makes sense. And it's very easy to get into. It's an amazing story. It has great voice acting for how old it is. And the animation for how old it is really isn't that bad. And it is kind of long. It is like around 100 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I watched it. But the pacing is amazing, so you're not going to get bored of it. And I guess the only real problem is it is kind of long, but it's not too long, I guess, if that makes sense. Because I feel like a good starter, when you want it to be relatively long, but not anything too crazy. Like, I feel like Attack on Titan is good for that because even like 48 episodes, because I think that's what Code Geass is, that might feel a little short. I don't know. 48 is probably pretty good too. But like anything 24 or below, like Gurren Lagann, I think that might just be a little too short to really tell if you like anime or not. Because if you can sit through all of Yu Yu Hakusho, then there's definitely other anime you'll like. That might not be the same with Gurren Lagann. But next we move into Sword Art Online. I'm not gonna lie, it's a similar situation to Tsukimichi. Now, Sword Art Online is classified as an isekai, and it's not. It just literally isn't. But again, it's going to get you into a thing where even if you like the show somehow, and it is inconsistent, shares that with Fairy Tail as well. Some arcs are good, some arcs are bad. If you do like Sword Art Online as your first show, it's going to get you into watching a bunch of other shows in the same categories that just are not good. So yeah, that's why it's going to go into bad. Next, we have Blue Exorcist. I'm going to give it a rare chance. It's probably better than The God of High School to start off with because it's a unique story, unique characters, likable characters, good story, all this and that or whatever. But again, it falls into the thing. It's very niche. There's not really much like it. It differentiates a lot in between seasons because they were done so spread apart. And overall, there's just a lot better in the same categories, right? And I think even the story of Blue Exorcist. Also, Blue Exorcist isn't even close to being over, apparently. Like, apparently the first part of the manga, which still isn't fully animated, is just a prelude. So not only is it very long, but the story itself is really for a specific kind of people anyway. So the average person watching Blue Exorcist probably won't enjoy it, just being honest. It can also get a little confusing at times. Next, we have My Hero Academia. Honestly, I'm going to put it in perfect. Yeah, I put it at the bottom of perfect. Now, the biggest worry about this is you start watching My Hero, you like it, and then you try to interact with the community. You're going to have an awful time if you interact with the My Hero community. But if you stick to just the show, it's superheroes. Who hasn't watched something with superheroes in it? Like, right? Like, most people like superhero shit. The story is easy to follow. The characters are extremely likable. The pacing is good. It's long, but it's not too long, so it's like in that good range. Yeah, I don't really see an issue with My Hero, honestly, other than the community. But the community is what's going to have it so low, because when you do like things, you do tend to interact with it online, on social media and things, and you're going to realize that the My Hero community is fucking terrible, and that might scare you off from anime in general. But if you tell them, if you tell somebody to watch My Hero, but you're like, hey, don't interact with the community. They're just really bad. Like, trust me, the community's not like that, but the show's really good. And they will enjoy it, most likely. Next, we have Assassination Classroom. It's not even bad. I'm just going to put it at 50-50, and I'm going to put it at the bottom because it's a forgettable show. There is stuff like it, and it is decent, but there's just a whole lot of shows that are better than it, and it's not a memorable show at all. So it might get you into it, and it might not, honestly. Like, it's just decent. There's nothing really that special about it either, other than the main guy being like a fucking octopus alien thing. But other than that, it's just not a real memorable show. There's nothing real special about it that gets people jumping out of their seats. It's decent, and a lot of people may enjoy it. I remember it was actually the second anime I ever watched. First anime I ever finished, and I just still think it's okay, right? Like, it's not anything that people need to be lining up to see, so that's why it's going to go 50-50. Next, we have Fullmetal Alchemist. I mean, it's going to go up there with Yu Yu Hakusho, but it's going to go higher because Fullmetal is arguably a perfect show. You could argue that there's nothing wrong with it, and that's not a bad take at all. And thing with Yu Yu Hakusho, a lot of people think the ending's not good. I personally like the ending. And a beginner's not really going to care about the ending because it's the first ending they ever saw. But Fullmetal has a great ending as well. I guess the problem with Fullmetal is if you start with it, it's going to be hard to find something that's better than it. Like, I personally have a few animes above Fullmetal, but if I started with it, would I? I don't know, because it really is a beautiful story, right? But I watched it after I watched a ton of different anime. So, yeah, maybe it just didn't have as much impact on me. If you start off with your first one, there's a very good shot that it will be your favorite anime forever. And that's kind of a bad thing, but not really, because that's also my first anime. I did that. Next, we have Mob Psycho. I think it's going to go in perfect as well, but I think it's going to be like around that Gurren Lagann area because it is a good length, and it's a fantastic story. It's easy to relate to, likable characters, everything of that nature and stuff. But it is kind of in its own basket because what's like Mob Psycho? Not a whole lot, honestly. There's not much like Mob Psycho because it is really one of one. It's like its own thing, but if you watch it, there's a very good chance you will enjoy it. And you can branch off in some ways, but for the most part, Mob Psycho is really its own thing. Next, we have Black Clover. Black Clover, I'm going to put it in good. It's definitely good. I'd actually probably put it above Vinland Saga because I think it's kind of like Yu Yu and a bunch of other shonens. It relates to a lot of other shows, so you can bounce off this show and go to something else. Problem, it is pretty long right now. I think it's at 170 episodes where it stopped. And there's still a lot more to go. It's not done either, so it's a similar thing like One Piece. It's pretty long, and it's got a lot to go. But it is very easy to get into. The pacing's very good. The story is decent, and the characters are very likable. So I think it's a good option. It's just, again, very long and not over yet. So there's a lot missing from it. Next, we have Naruto. This is the show I started with. It is my favorite anime of all time, and that does not make it a perfect one to start out with, though. It's going to go... I'm probably going to put it in the top of good because it's like One Piece. It is very long, and it is a commitment, but it is finished at least. So you have a starting point, and you have a stopping point on where to look forward to. The filler holds it back as well because, a new watcher isn't going to know what the filler is and stuff. Obviously, if you're telling someone, you're like, hey, look at a filler list on which episodes to skip. Trust me, it's worth it. But the Naruto filler's not bad either. It's just not great. But even the filler in Naruto is better than some anime, honestly. It really is. And the animation still holds up to this day. Another problem with Naruto is its accessibility. The original you can watch on almost anything. Shippuden, good luck. I still don't know where to watch the dub for that. They have some of it on Hulu. Actually, I think they finished it all on Hulu. So maybe you can watch it on there. But the show finished in 2016, and Hulu didn't have the full dub until like a year or two ago. So watching Naruto is a pain in the ass, honestly, to do, but it is worth it. Most people will like it. Again, there's a reason it is in that top 3 of most watched anime. It's very simple to follow as well, and Naruto branches off to a lot of different stuff because there's a lot of stuff that is like it, but there's a reason, according to Crunchyroll and Netflix, it's been the most watched anime of the past 20 years because it's really like that. Actually, just got beat out last year for the first time by One Piece, but, besides the point. Anyway, next we have Fire Force. Fire Force is 50-50, honestly, but I'm going to put it at the top because it's a shonen. It's like a lot of other shonen, but it suffers from a lot of similarity in itself. Like, obviously, a lot of the characters wear the same uniforms. A lot of them, it's all firepower. Everything is firepower. So for some people, it may be a little too repetitive, even though the story's not repetitive. It's just like the themes are very repetitive, so for some people that might be a little too much, but it's a easy gateway into a bunch of different other anime, and it's about to finish, right? It's a good length and everything, likable characters, good story, but yeah, there's just a lot of the same stuff, like same themes going around. Next we have To Be Hero X. Honestly, it's definitely good. Oh, where would I put it? I'd put it above Demon Slayer. Put it above Vinland Saga, but I'd probably stop there because it's not over right now, but apparently season 2 is going to be the last one, so there's only going to be 48 episodes. And with To Be Hero X, it's about superheroes. Again, everybody loves superheroes. Also, it has like a lot of CGI episodes in it as well, which I know a lot of anime fans are like, ew, CGI. It's not bad in To Be Hero X at all. It's actually amazing. But for the average person who hasn't watched anime, they've watched a lot of stuff with CGI. So it's like, okay, it's not all anime. It'll be easier for me to get into. The problem with To Be Hero X is, although it is superheroes and although it can be related to other anime, it's its own thing. It really is. There's nothing really like it. Also, again, it's not done right now. So this is the list for right now. When it finishes, it might arguably be perfect. I don't know. Oh, another problem with it is that there's no like defined main character. Now, if you look it up, the main character is Linling, but he's not even in half the episodes, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. Is there really a main character? So some people might struggle with following that aspect as well because the whole first season is a setup. So yeah, it's definitely a good watch and good for beginners, but it's not perfect. Next, we have Samurai Champloo. It's going to go into Rare Chance. I'll put it at the top of Rare Chance, though, because it is funny. It is actually historically accurate. It's paced well. It's got a decent episode count. Good characters, decent story. The problem is it's very goofy. It's not like a lot of other anime. And yeah, I think there are just better options. Like, I love Samurai Champloo, but if you give that to someone as their first anime, the chances are they walk away being an anime fan isn't that high. Now, they might be a Samurai Champloo fan, but that means nothing because then they go, like, they're like, all right, well, I don't really like anything else that looks like this. Well, let me go to the guy that made them. Yeah, he made Cowboy Bebop. That's not really like Samurai Champloo. It's really not. They're both great, but they're not really the same. So, yeah. Next we have Trigun. I mean, everything I said about Cowboy Bebop the same. I think actually Trigun's a little bit easier to get into because it's a little more story-driven rather than character-driven, but it's pretty much the same thing as Cowboy Bebop. Next we have Fate. Fate is a terrible, terrible starter. Even if you start with Fate Zero, like I have here, there's going to be people that say, oh, why'd you start with Fate Zero? You're supposed to start with Fate's Day and Night. The starting of Fate, the show's not bad. It's not. So I'll put it ahead of Gordon Conway. The show's not bad at all. I think it's a good show, actually. But Fate is so complicated to follow. For someone who's never watched anime, they're not going to do it. They're just not. I'm just being honest with you. And I do think Fate is good, but there's nothing really about Fate that's all that special. Also, it relates to no anime ever. There's no anime like Fate. I guess that's what makes it special. But, like, the story's not fantastic or anything. The characters are decent, right? But it's not even a must-watch anime, in my opinion. And there's too much to follow about it. It's too complicated to get into. It's also hard to watch because half the ones aren't on any platform, so you got to watch them illegally. Yeah, just overall, really bad anime to start with. Then we have Tokyo Revengers. It's going to be the same thing as Windbreaker, but I think Windbreaker's better in general. So yeah. Next we have Dr. Stone. Honestly, I don't know. I would try to watch Dr. Stone, and I could not get through it, honestly. And I like anime a lot, but the story in Dr. Stone is pretty bad, I'll be honest. The characters are likable, except they're not half the time. Because half the time they're just yelling stupid shit at each other and making dumb jokes that, yes, may be funny, but it wastes, like, the whole episode away. Like, they do nothing in the episode. I don't know. I think starting off with Dr. Stone, I think it'd be a rare chance. I don't think it's terrible. It's definitely not my cup of tea, but yeah, there's just a lot wrong with it, I feel like. All right, next we have Pluto. This is a bad one to start off with. It is super, super serious. There's no other anime really like it. And it has to deal with things a lot of people don't like, which is AI. So, yeah, also, yeah, I already said not much like it. It's very short. I'd put it at the top, though, because it's an amazing story, and I don't know anybody. Well, actually, I met one person that disliked Pluto, but his reason for disliking it is stupid. Literally a pick-me reason. It was like, oh, Pluto's bad because a lot of people like it. One, a lot of people have never even seen it. Two, that's a dumb fucking reason to not like something. So, yeah, the only person I've ever heard of that didn't like Pluto didn't like it because other people didn't, right? It's a good show. It's just not very beginner-friendly, I'll be honest. Next, we have Erased. Honestly, the only thing about Erased that might turn away new viewers is the fact that he, like, kind of has a crush on that, like, high school girl that, like, works with him, but he does, like, he very clearly states that, like, he would never do anything with her or anything like that. But I guess that's a little weird. I would still say it's perfect. Well, it's a little short. It is very short, honestly. Can it go into perfect being that short? I don't know. With the fact that you know, the stuff with the 17-year-old and, you know, that he's it's short, I'm just gonna put it at the top of good just to be safe, because it is a great one to start off with, but it is very short. There are others like it, though, so it's not terrible to branch off of either. Next we have Monster, though. Honestly, Monster is going to be very good as well. I think I'm going to put it behind Erased. It's a good length. Pacing can be a little bit slow at times, but the reason why I'm putting it near the top of good is because it's a phenomenal story, but it can't be perfect because it's really only for adults. Like, there's not going to be kids that watch Monster and really enjoy it. And I mean, like, kids, not like, you know, young adults, right? Like, not like 15 up. Like, they could enjoy it, right? But for the most part, it's an adult show. It's a mature show. That if you are an adult and you like serious topics, you would like Monster. Like, you will. It's a good show, right? So that's why dude, I'm genuinely gonna, like, fucking rip my tongue out. Sorry. Anyway, this is the list. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe again, join the Discord, all this and that, right? I will see you guys in the next video, which will be our anime review of the week. I don't know what it is, but I will see you guys for that. Peace.